Welcome back to Cloud 2K, and this is the Cloud Report. So today we're talking about the best team in the entire NBA, the Cleveland Cavaliers. At least if you look at their record, being 56-10 at the time of recording, has them the best record in the entire NBA, only really rivaled by the Thunder being 55-12. Whichever one of those teams you think is the better team, that's up to you. I'm not debating that today. The real question is, like in the title, can we take the Cavaliers seriously? This entire year, no matter how dominant the Cavaliers have been, multiple 10-plus game winning streaks, I think 3 throughout the entire season, which is insane. A lot of people are saying, yeah, but we don't really know yet. We still trust the Celtics more. We still trust maybe the Nuggets, maybe the Thunder more. We don't really trust the Cavaliers. And I'm here to say we should be trusting everything the Cleveland Cavaliers have been doing. This is not their first time around the rodeo. Last year, made it to the second round. They've been in the playoffs consistently since they've traded for Donovan Mitchell. This isn't a brand new team coming out of nowhere, and we need to fully respect everything they're doing. They have the number one offense in the entire NBA at a 121.8 offensive rating. Their defense rating is 7th at 111, about 5 points behind the Thunder. Again, the Thunder are probably the only team, well, I don't want to say the only team. The Thunder and the Celtics are the two teams you got to look at. These three teams are really in a tier of their own at this point in time. They are the elite, the best of the best. Net rating wise, they're number 2 at 10.8, only behind, of course, the Cleveland Cavaliers. And all that starts with their certified number 1 option, the star Donovan Mitchell. Since coming over from Utah, has been so good for them. On the season, he's averaging 24 points, 5 assists, shooting 38% from 3 on 9 attempts a game, 51 from the floor. He's been so good. I mean, he's been everything they've absolutely wanted. I know he's had a couple games where he's not maybe showed up in some of the bigger games. That's okay. I still trust Donovan Mitchell. We saw him with Utah, him and Rudy Gobert, consistently being the top seed in the Western Conference, or being one of the top seeds in the Western Conference. He can score from literally anywhere on the floor. He can get to the rim. He can hit the mid-range. He's got his spots in mid-range. Obviously, we know he's a great three-point shooter. Again, 38% on 9 attempts a game. There's really not much Donovan Mitchell can do. Of course, you have, if we're going to be fair and give a lot of praise, we have to give the criticism of the biggest problem, I think, with the Cavaliers might be their backcourt defense between Darius Garland and Donovan Mitchell. They're both, 6'1 to 6'3-ish. They're a smaller backcourt, and that's going to be an issue in the playoffs against teams like the Boston Celtics, against teams like the New York Knicks, that have elite scores that can maybe one-on-one get these matchups with the Donovan Mitchell and Darius Garland, but offensively they are top of the league. And again, Darius Garland having another phenomenal season, 21 points, almost 7 assists, a steal a game, 40% on a little bit over 7 attempts from 3 a game. They're just an engine of an offense. Again, I don't think there's a better offensive backcourt in the entire NBA. And again, their defense is going to always be a cause of concern. If you want to really look for something that you don't trust on the Cavaliers, maybe it is their perimeter defense. But that's why they have probably the best front court defense in the entire NBA, and it's being anchored by a guy that has taken a huge step in his game this season, Evan Mobley. We're looking at Evan Mobley, 18.5 points, 9 rebounds, 3 assists, a block and a half, almost a steal a game, so about 3 stocks a game-ish, 2.5 to 3 stocks per game. But the biggest thing, 37% from 3 on 3 attempts a game. You look at last year, 37% from 3, only 1.2. Before that, 21% on 1, 25% on 1. The way Evan Mobley's been able to take more perimeter shots this year and be able to knock them down at a consistent, a little bit above league average rate, has been one of the biggest reasons this Cleveland Cavaliers team has taken the jump they've needed. Evan Mobley, he puts the ball on the floor now. He looks like the total package that you wanted at the 4 when you drafted him high. He was definitely top 5. I don't remember off the top of my head exactly what pick Evan Mobley was. But they drafted him top 5 for a reason, and you're really seeing that jump this year. He's been a great defender his entire career. The way he's now can help anchor a defense between him and Jarrett Allen. He can also be a threat to score the ball. There's no more just spotting up Evan Mobley in a corner or having him down in the post. You can give the guy the ball at the top of the key. He can do his work. He can get to the paint. He can get by his defenders with a decent enough dribble package for a guy that's 7 foot tall, you know what I mean? One of the also big things they did at the deadline this year, DeAndre Hunter from the Hawks. A guy that was probably the favorite to win 6th Player of the Year when he came over. He comes to Cleveland, they start him for a game or two, say, okay, maybe we don't like this. They move him back to the bench, but then between him and his teammate Ty Jerome, who I'm going to get to in a second, have been the best scoring duo off the bench this entire season. He's averaged, again, you have to take this into account because he was like insane for the Hawks before this, but he's averaging 14.5 points, or I'm sorry. For Cleveland, since he's been traded, he's averaging 14.5 points, about 4 rebounds and assists a game, shooting 50% on about 5 threes a game. But then you look at, before the trade, 19 points on 39% from 3. So basically, if you combine that for the entire season, he's averaging 17.8 points, 4 rebounds, about a steal a game, 41% on 6 threes a game. He's been phenomenal. He's been a guy that he kind of came into the league as you kind of looked at him as like a prototypical 3-and-D type of wing. And for the good part of the start of his career, he's been a decent shooter. The defense hasn't really been there. He's really turned more into a lethal scorer off the bench. And again, between him and his teammate Ty Jerome, who again I'm going to get to here in a second, have been the 2 front runners for 6th Player of the Year. And this Cavs team really doesn't lack anything. They have scoring in their backcourt. They have scoring in defense in their front court. They have scoring off the bench. They have defenders off the bench. Ty Jerome, again, like I said, has been absolutely phenomenal. I just watched a interview he did with Pierre on Teed Up. It's a great interview. I suggest you go watch that. He's having his best year, 11.9 points, but around the 12 points per game, 3 assists a game, shooting 43% on 3.5 attempts, 43% on 3.5 threes attempts a game is what I'm trying to say there. Again, a guy that, I don't want to say this came out of nowhere because he's definitely had his moments, his flashes before, but has been the lead guard off the bench. And it's like you can take Darius Garland, you can take Donovan Mitchell off the court and put on Ty Jerome. And of course, you're not going to get the same level of production because those guys are all-star level players, star level players. But he's been a healthy and super, super welcome addition off the bench. I mean, like I said, he kind of has a similar mold to a Darius Garland, I think. Like, he's a guy that can score from anywhere. He gets to his spots really, really consistently. He's only taking, how many? 8 field goals a game? Like, he's not a guy that demands the ball a lot. He can move off the ball. He's a good playmaker. Again, the defense is always going to be an issue with this backcourt, and maybe, again, that's something you might want to look at. But I've been such a big fan of this Cleveland Cavaliers team. And again, if we want to talk about how they match up against the teams in the Eastern Conference, you have obviously the Celtics, you have the the Bucks, the Pacers. Right now, being the 1 seed, the play-in is the Hawks, Magic, Heat, Bulls. I'm just going to go with the over and say that the Hawks and the Magic, the current 7 and 8 seed, make the playoffs. I'm not going to do all that other stuff because there's no point in that right now. That means they would play against the Orlando Magic in the first round. And if there's anything we know about this Orlando Magic team is they cannot score the ball to save their lives. I'm sorry, I'm a big fan of Paolo and Franz, but I don't give them much of a hope at all of scoring against an Evan Mobley-led defense. I'm just being real with you. I don't see it happening. I think they can walk out of that in maybe 5 at the absolute most. If Paolo just gets on a heater one game, they win. I look at the Hawks. If for some reason the Hawks drop, they kind of struggle to score the ball. They can't really defend. I don't think that's anything. If I look at the teams that I think are actually going to be a threat, it is the Celtics, the Knicks, and Bucks. I like the Pacers. I don't think they're really going to be a threat to get deep again. Maybe they do. Maybe they make another conference finals run, and I'll give them at full respect. The Pistons are a really, really fun story. I think there's a chance they could have a hard-fought first-round matchup, but I don't think they're getting past the first round. Again, you never know. You never know. But that's not really the point of this video. The Celtics, Knicks, and Bucks are, I think, the 3 other teams that, if you look at the Eastern Conference, you have to respect them that they can make a run because the Bucks have Giannis and Damian Lillard. The Knicks have Jalen Brunson when he gets back healthy. Karl-Anthony Towns. They just have a very, very good team with a great offense. And then the Celtics are the reigning champions who still have one of the best teams in the entire NBA. We'll start with the Bucks, Damian Giannis. I feel like the Cavaliers have a good recipe of stopping Giannis. Now, I'm a big fan of Damian Lillard. I love Damian Lillard, but I don't think Dame alone can take down this Cavaliers team. So if you can not shut down, you're never going to shut down Giannis, but if you can really hold Giannis to as little as you possibly can, I think that's the biggest thing about getting out of this Bucks series. I think between Evan Mobley, Jerry Allen can basically build the wall. Like, they can build the wall that they need to go against that. I just don't think the Bucks have the pieces outside of Damian Giannis to really be much of a threat at all either. They can't really defend. They're having a hard time scoring sometimes. The Knicks cannot defend shit. As much as I'm a fan of Jalen Brunson, he's not guarding Darius Garland. They're not guarding Donovan Mitchell. They lack defense. Mikal Bridges and OG Anunoby are two of the most inconsistent wings in the entire NBA. At least, like, if you look at, like, higher level wings, like all-star level-ish wings, they're inconsistent. They never really seem to be on the same page with each other at the same time. Cat's going to have a hard time down there against Evan Mobley. Evan Mobley can help switch on the perimeter on Cat. He could also be on the inside, or like interior. Jarrett Allen can be on the interior with Cat. I just don't think the Knicks have the firepower to keep up with the Cavaliers. They also don't have the defense to stop much of anything going on down there. The Boston Celtics, of course, is going to be the best matchup. That's something we could definitely see, and we're probably going to see in the conference finals this year, and I'm really, really excited for that. Now, they have played each other before. They've played each other 4 times this year if you count the NBA Cup game, and it's split 2-2. Each team's won 2. Back on the first game was November 19th in the NBA Cup. The Celtics beat the Cavs 117-120. That's the game where Donovan Mitchell struggled. We all know that was kind of the first thing of like, oh, is are the Cavs really real? Then you look at December 1st, the Cavs win 115-111. February 4th, 112-105, the Celtics win. And then February 28th, 123-116, the Cavs win. They split 2-2 either way. This is the Celtics team with Jason Tatum, and you're hoping a better version of Jaylen Brown when it's come playoff time, is the team that can match up Hunt, Donovan Mitchell, Darius Garland really, really well. Now, Isaac Okoro is going to be in for a lot. He's gonna need to be there, man. Isaac Okoro is going to need to be locked in because he's not stopping Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum. Between him and Evan Mobley are going to do a lot of switching on the perimeter. You're going to have to figure out, I mean, Drew Holiday and Derek White aren't exactly these explosive offensive guards, so maybe you won't have as much, as poor of a time one-on-one with Garland and Mitchell on those two. But again, Jason Tatum's going to do whatever he can to get Donovan Mitchell and Darius Garland on the ball and get off of Evan Mobley, get off of Isaac Okoro, because those are the better defenders. And again, Jason Tatum's probably going to take a matchup with Jarrett Allen pretty well because he's just a shiftier, one of the best players in the league. He's going to try to get Jarrett Allen off on the perimeter as well. The only thing, the biggest thing I think going for the Cavaliers is that they have a defense that is just the, I guess, 7th best in the league. But I really, really trust Evan Mobley, the jump we see from Evan Mobley this year, that I think he's going to do whatever he can to shut down Jason Tatum. Again, you're not going to be able to shut down Jason Tatum. It's not going to happen. But I think between the switching of Mobley and Isaac Okoro, they're going to do anything they can to get the ball out of Jason Tatum's hands and say, hey, Jaylen Brown, you beat us. Hey, Porzingis, if Porzingis is healthy, we don't really know. He has an unidentified viral illness right now. That is, you don't need me to tell you that it's not good. So we don't even know what Porzingis is going to be like in this series. I think if the Cavaliers can make the series about Jaylen Brown beating him, Drew Holiday beating him, Derek White beating him, I think that's where the Cavaliers have their biggest advantage. It's just ball denial, just gapping up, throwing double teams at Jason Tatum, getting the ball out of Jason Tatum's hands, kind of like the Warriors did in the finals a couple years ago. Now, Jason Tatum's a better player than he was 2 years ago in that finals run, so there's definitely, his playmaking's been better where he can definitely make those passes, but I think that's the best hope this Cavaliers team has against these Boston Celtics. That takes us into the question of the week from Tennessee 237 Levi. Who do you think would win a 7-game series, fully healthy, Celtics or Cavs? Now, the fully healthy part is the part that makes this a bit different, because if we're taking it as of today, it's tough. Again, with Porzingis being out, I maybe would give the edge to the Cavs in 7 games. Just the way they're playing has been dominant. They've just been dominant the entire season, and the Celtics have had a few lulls in their season, but again, also a very, very good team. But a healthy Kristaps Porzingis is just the cherry on top of the ice cream sundae for this Boston Celtics team, where there's just not a world where the Cavaliers have enough defenders to guard Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, Kristaps Porzingis. There's just not. Again, you're hoping Jaylen Brown takes a step into playoffs where he's been not quite as great this year as he was last year. Derek White can get on a heater. Obviously, Peyton Pritchard off the bench can get on a heater sometimes. He's very on and off, but if he's on the heater, there's just not much this Cavaliers team could do. There's not much any team in the NBA can do with a Boston Celtics team that is fully healthy, firing on all cylinders. I know this is a Cavaliers video, and Cavs fans are probably going to not like me saying this, but I think a fully healthy, I'm going to give the edge to the Celtics right now, but my opinion is fully fluid and willing to change. You know what I mean? We could watch this in the conference finals, and after game 1, I could completely change my mind and feel like the Cavaliers can walk this off in 6 or 7 games. But right now, I'm going to give the full respect to the reigning champions of how dominant of a team they are as well, and say Celtics in 7. But man, it's really, really tough, and I'm very, very fluid on changing to Cavs in 7 if it really shows it. I appreciate you guys watching this episode of the Cloud Report. It's been great since the start of 2025. I appreciate all the support I've gotten, and please hit that subscribe button. We're on the road to 500 subscribers. We're slowly getting there. And I appreciate you guys watching. I'll see you guys later. Peace.